Well, first, I guess I need to tell you, I'm an addict. I always will be an addict. Addict is something that you just don't drop, you know. I use heroin, so that alone right there tells you, you know, I did it intravenously. You need syringes and other items to do that. I tell you, when I first found out about it, it was just exchanging needles, you know, just exchange. But the more I kept coming back, the more I kept going, I kept learning about other things, you know, the condoms, the sterilizing of needles, you know, that you just don't have to get the infection from a needle point. You can get it from somebody else's cooker, you know. The germ travels.
A lot of people go around asking people for water. Somebody might have something wrong with them and share their water, and there might be blood in the water or something, and they'll get something, you know. So that's why we make what we call bleach kits. Inside the bleach kit is a bottle of bleach, a bottle of water, some alcohol pads, and some cotton cookers.
Your friends told you about it, you told your friends about it. It was a way of going to get things that you needed. And in the course of receiving things that you needed, like new needles and stuff, you picked up information, you know? Good information, information about places that you could go to find help if you needed it.
Here, you know they're clean. If you come here, you can start, they give you 3 to start with, and you come back, they give you 6, then they'll give you 9, 12, 15, 18, up to 20. Once you got 20, you bring in 20, they give you 20 brand new ones.
Everybody else that I've talked to or said anything had good comments to say, but this one lady said, we'll never get rid of it.
It's a risk you take personally, and if you shouldn't be shooting needles in the first place, and you know, that's not a problem that I'm worried about. I'm worried about maintaining a community.
Well, the needle exchange does take needles in, takes needles back.
If you get one, oh, that's a good idea. You give them one, you get one.
Right.
That's a good idea. That way they keep them off the street. It's real necessary because, you know, of the drug itself. You don't want nobody to get no AIDS and giving it out. And that way, if they're going to do it, you might as well be safe.
Would you say that you support the needle exchange ban being in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
Yeah. And can you tell us why?
Because it's a drug neighborhood, and if people are going to use needles, they might as well use clean ones so they don't spread that shit to everybody else.
Hey,
hi.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I think it's a very good program in order to give the people, you know, the best type of things to use, because a lot of times they're sharing needles, and you know, that's A virus is basically being transferred by the needle. So I think the program will work very well.
You know, at least a cousin or something, something else.
Why do you think people feel so strongly opposed to having needle exchange?
I just, in general, because attract like more prostitution, more drug users to the community, which we don't want that. More crime. People are afraid to go and shop around the Kensington. They say, oh, they're going to take my money. I can't go there. I cannot send my children at a certain time outside because they're going to be using drugs or they're going to be on the street. It's just more violence to the community, more crime.
The big conflict comes from a lack of information and an understanding of what you're trying to accomplish, as well as inherent fears that people have about anything related to drugs or the drug culture or drug people. The fear that they will break into their cars, break into their homes, that this will become a congregating point for those folks, as well as the conflict that people have about wanting service. And they want to serve their sons and daughters in their community, but then they don't want it near them. That doesn't make any sense. These people are not going to disappear. They're not just going to go away. We're not going to reinstitute leper colonies, and they're not disposable.
And another complaint that we get is that syringe exchanges contribute significantly to the amount of crime that goes on in the neighborhood. I was at one meeting where the police department did have statistics on crime within that particular police district and was able to show no increase in crime over the last several years.
Do you see the site running well and things like that?
Yeah, the site is running well. There's no problems. Everybody's coming down there. You know, it's a good crowd. You know, I think very good, you know.
2 months ago, I had pneumonia, and I came here. I was really sick, and I went to the doctor. And as a matter of fact, one of the doctors took me to the hospital, and I was admitted, and I stayed for about 2 weeks. And it was great. I mean, he knew my doctor also. I didn't know that. My doctor came and told me that she knew that he brought me to the hospital. It was nice.
Okay. When was the last time you took your Baclofen?
Yesterday. I had a Ventolin earlier.
We do some clinic sites at 4 different sites in the city, one of which is Prevention Point.
If you're embarrassed to go to your doctors, if you have an abscess, if you have something wrong with you from using a needle and you missed and you're embarrassed to go to your own doctor, we have doctors on board every week that will take care of you. You don't have to have your family know or your private doctor know. This is something personal.
Very good. And have you had any other medical problems?
I have a planer's wart on my toe that has me, you know, really interfering with the way I walk.
Okay. Do you have high blood pressure?
My blood pressure's been holding okay.
How about diabetes?
We see a variety of medical problems at the Saturday site. IV drug users are going to present with any kind of problem that anyone in the medical community at large would present with. You'll see issues like hypertension, congestive heart failure, edema, all sorts of different issues, but also they have special diseases that they themselves will only present with, such as abscesses and cellulitis, skin infections, right-sided endocarditis, which is pretty much only seen in the IV drug-using population. So we see a wide variety of problems at the site.
Cuando estoy aquí con Prevention Point en la van o en el bus, como decimos en español, en la guagua, por favor, yo le doy, le hago sentir a ellos que es mi trabajo y es mi deber, que yo haga una exploración de sus sentimientos, de su miedo que trae, de los problemas que ella trae de la casa, porque fíjate, una consejería para descubrir si esta persona está enferma con el virus no es simple.
I think it's very necessary.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't have medical coverage, and a lot of people are scared to go to the hospital if they have an abscess or something. It seems like it's safer for us to come here. You know, we don't get judged by like the nurses or the doctors and stuff like that.
Me, myself, I need to tell you, I am positive. I got positive by shooting intravenously, and it was something, it went on, I did not know about. I was positive. I was sharing needles. I was sharing cookers, you know. And when I did find out, it was a blow. I mean, I just couldn't understand it. Why this happened to me? You know, hey, I'm not a bad guy. I don't really try to hurt nobody, but it's not all about that.
Before this was, it was here and whatnot, I always shared works with people, even knowing the fact that I was very possible that I could get HIV. But a drug addict, you know, when you need your fix, you just really don't think about those kind of things.
People were actually finding needles on the street. And I'm saying this from experience, finding needles on the street, not using bleach to wash them out, wash them out with water, this and that. Old cookers finding, you know, off a beer top, and using them. I came out of hospital. I went right back to using. You know, after all that doctor they told me, I went back to using. But this time when I went back to using, I was a little bit more careful, you know. I stopped to think about the things I was doing, you know, using other people's needles and stuff like that.
The people who use the syringe exchanges are very often the hardest to reach individuals in terms of discussing with them treatment opportunities and the benefits of treatment or engaging in treatment or changing their behavior. Syringe exchanges are a way to gain access to this hard-to-reach population, which generally is impossible for the health department to get to through virtually any other way other than through syringe exchanges.
At that time when I did that interview,
Hey, man, I was like, hey, let me use
I was past enjoyment. I was past social high.
So
rinsing the water, maybe throw a little fire on the tip. Getting high, it was like an everyday job. I mean, I went to bed thinking how I was going to get high the next day. I woke up with that purpose on mind. Maybe just that little knowledge that I got from needle exchange, maybe got me where I'm at today. And where I'm at today, I haven't used like 8.5 months, like I say. That's as long as I ever never used. I'm all right with myself today. I feel good about myself today.
Have to die before we lift the ban. How many more have to die before we lift the ban? How many
more? The reason I say this is because we can cure an IV drug user, but we cannot cure an IV drug user with AIDS.
Addicts going to find a way to do it. But today they can find a way that maybe will save somebody's life, you know?
I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm a needle exchanger. And thanks to needle exchange in Philadelphia, I still am HIV negative.